I got asked to remote view the Isaac Cappy murder. I asked that there wasn't a lot of information given to me, but the email that I was sent did include bits of information, such as driving back from somewhere eastern Arizona, I guess getting a flat tire and perhaps jumping or being pushed off a bridge. I don't follow Isaac Cappy. I didn't know who he was until yesterday when I received the email. My initial impression, as I'm looking into him right now, I've got spirits summoned and called. I have other work going on here, and instantly the winds picked up. And that's usually a sign that there are some pretty strong spiritual presences. But even though I have other work going, the matron of this work has said it's okay. There we go. Nice, and well, maybe it'll calm down. So, I'm going to leave the spirit of Isaac Cappy alone. He's confused. He's angry. He's very sad. I get the immediate impression that he's been a CIA asset for quite a long time. I think he was working for them without knowing it for, I'm going to go 5-6 years now. When I see him, I see that idiot Charlie Veach. I don't know if anyone remembers who Charlie Veach is. Not that he deserves to be remembered, but say 2008, 2009, he came around the conspiracy world with, I think it was the Love Police or some just weapons grade bullshit like that. And he was on Alex Jones a couple times. He went to England and was on some conspiracy show where he was the conspiracy theorist, and he was certain 9/11 was an inside job, which it was. And then they showed him some nonsensical evidence, and he proclaimed that 9/11 was exactly as the official story stated, and that anyone who believed that it was a conspiracy was crazy and shouldn't be trusted, and that how stupid he was. He just couldn't believe it. And then he came around and pretended he was like Damien Rockefeller. That idiot. That complete and utter idiot. That's the same individual that I see standing next to Isaac Cappy. I don't know if Isaac Cappy was a plant, someone used to eventually discredit a movement, or I should say, I don't know if he knew that he was, because yes, he was. It's not impossible that the higher up elite, I am true practicing occultist. I am a ceremonial magician for 30 years. I'm a voodoo priest. I'm a priest of Balo Mayombe. I'm part of numerous secret societies. I've been in the elite encampments. So I am not just a researcher. I am an actual practicing occultist with a real practice. So I've been in think tanks across the table from Michael Aquino. Legit, evil, sociopathic, criminal, disgustingly psychopathic people who are also deeply involved in the occult. Them feeding their lower levels is not out of the question. They would absolutely put some low level or maybe even a little bit higher level celebrity that's losing their relevance on the altar of sacrifice, as long as it distracted away from other things that they were doing. I believe this is firmly, from what I'm being shown. I'm being shown a big jumble of things, so I'm trying to strain. So if it sounds like I'm talking in circles, I'm really trying to talk around an image I'm being shown currently. I believe that he was, Isaac Cappy had mentioned something about Seth Green once. And it's not like Seth Green's a big player. So, if Seth Green goes down for pedophilia, it's not going to hurt anyone. And it's just going to make people feel as though there's actual work being done, like justice is being served, when it's not. So, the way I'm feeling it is Isaac Cappy was someone who was there to look credible, look legit, talk about real people doing real things, real pedophilia rings, real crimes, real evils, but low level. Stuff that the real high level guys don't care. It was a lot like how the high level Nazis fed lower to mid level Nazis to war tribunals in Nuremberg so that they could get carried on through Operation Paperclip and infiltrate the United States. Nazi fifth column. If you don't know about it, it's time to learn a very uncomfortable and very aggravating truth. Isaac Cappy was a shill. Whether he knew it, I don't believe that he knew until about, I'm getting shown a year ago, is when he really kind of figured it out. I get that he had a lot of vices. Drug addict, but I think that's pretty easy. Had a lot of debt. I don't know if he gambled. I'm getting shown like a lot of Eastern Bloc guys threatening him, wanting their money. So I don't know if those are loan sharks. I don't know if those are bookies. But he definitely owed people money, for sure. Owed lots of people money. Big money. And I'm getting the sensation that he himself struggled with his own issues. I don't know if he was a pedophile per se, but I know that he liked younger... I'm feeling younger boys and girls, maybe in the teens. I wouldn't be surprised if Isaac Cappy had, well... I don't know if that's pedophile level, but it's certainly statutory rape. I feel as though he got into this meaning well at first. I'm getting a lot of idea that his confusion stems from the fact that the brain and the mind, his mind is, now that he's out of his body, is realizing just how sick they made his brain. I'm getting that he was really the victim of gang stalking. I believe that he is was a targeted individual. I get the feeling that he hadn't been able to sleep well for weeks. Something happened overseas. I don't know if he went to South Africa or maybe New Zealand. Or maybe New Zealand or Australia. I'm going to go with New Zealand or Australia. Something happened there. Something that he compromised him in a big way. In a big way, compromised him. I'm feeling like they used his addictions against him. Maybe promised him money. But I think he got drugged. This is the way I'm seeing it. And I think they got videotape of him doing something that, I don't know, maybe even having sex with the kid, or worse. That part, for some reason, is being... He's asking me not to look at it. Okay, I'll respect that. But, yes. I get the feel that he was hearing a lot of voices. And I don't think he was schizophrenic. Although I think that they would like to have made him think he was, and maybe they did. I think some like voice to skull technology. I think they were sending direct messages into the back of his skull with harmonics, energy harmonics. And I think that he was really prone to religious. Why does the word iconography come to mind? Personalities? I think personality is a better term. Like he thought he could have been like Mark or Luke or somebody really close to Jesus. Mark or Luke. Now, why does that make sense? I don't know. Somebody close to Mark or I'm going to go Mark or Luke. Somebody very close to Jesus. And that really fucked with him because that message came through that transmission a lot. I get the feeling that they put people in his life that he wasn't sure how he met, but just also kind of went with it. There are two women and a man. The women seem closer to him. The man is a friend or an associate of one of the women. And they keep telling him it's time to take your medicine. But they're kind of laughing at him about it. I think he's understanding. I think they're poisoning him slowly. Keeping him addicted and poisoning him. Making him very susceptible. If someone could go through his computer, I think they'll find that he didn't buy the equipment that he has. Somebody gave it to him. And that equipment has technology to listen to him, watch him, and even transmit messages. I think they played subliminal messages through his phone and through his computer while he slept. This just further fucked with him. This guy's kind of a shit show. This guy kind of really is a shit show. I don't know if he tried to break into music or was a songwriter or maybe a screenwriter of some sort. That was going to go nowhere, and that cost him a lot of money. I think he was banking on becoming famous. For some reason, Joe Rogan comes into play with this too. For me, I don't know if they were promising him that he would be the next Joe Rogan, but they were dangling his debt in front of him, and I think he had the opportunity to sell some people out and get to be the next Joe Rogan or someone with a very popular podcast. Joe Rogan's a weird guy. I'm not a big fan of his. And that Owen Benjamin dude, I think he even said he knew those kids who were killed in that unbelievably bullshit limo crash, but like he was friends with them, but like never explained why or how he was friends with them. Those guys, be careful with those guys. There's something up. There's something weird with that. I think Isaac Cappy was promised. Isaac Cappy hung out with pedophiles. He was friends with them. And I think he was friends with them for way too long. I personally, I think there's more to the Isaac Cappy as a potential pedophile himself. I wouldn't, he could feel so bad about it that he would want to bring other people who were worse down, maybe to make up for it. That's just, again, this is remote viewing. This is just kind of like, I'm allowing myself to see through spirits that are close to him. And I'm trying to make sense of this huge blur of images that I'm getting. He definitely had issues with underage. How underage? I'm not sure. I think there was a hard limit that he would never cross willingly. But I think that they caught him. I think they arranged it so he would. Definitely mind controlled. Definitely drugged. definitely leveraged with his own vices and his own addictions. Absolutely controlled. Had a handler. I think he had a female handler because he responded to a gentler touch. I believe they brought in the male handler to really rough him up or threaten when he didn't respond to the more motherly female handler. I think there was sexual abuse going on with that. That's weird. He's asking me not to talk about that. Um, well, I'm going to say I think they use the threat of sexual torture and the threat of sexual violence against him. One of the women in particular, it's like a roommate maybe, would threaten him a lot or joke around about it, but he knew that she was serious. I think they gave him the opportunity to kill himself. Really tried to encourage him to do that. Give him the option to walk into a situation where he would die. I think they gave him a lot of opportunities and options, mostly painless. I get the feeling he's a bit of a narcissist, and I'm not going to be mean, kind of a bit of a pussy. Not, whatever. Like, a hangnail might bother this dude a little bit. Not okay and not accustomed to getting beat on. I don't think he would look for a violent way out. I think he would look for pills. I don't think a gunshot, because that would ruin his face. Pills or poison, something that he would still look presentable, even as a corpse. Him going to Arizona, I don't know if he was there to visit family or what he was doing, but I think that was the big encouragement of go see your family, go say your goodbyes, and take yourself out. And I get the sense that the narcissistic part of him, which is good because it kept him from offing himself. I'm a bit of a narcissist. Um, Kinda. I would never commit suicide, ever. Uh, so, well, I mean, I guess in a really, like, if it was me or a loved one, I would totally be me, but just to kill myself, no, I wouldn't do it. That's a question he's asking me. He's like, well, would you? In that case, I would. But no, I mean, in another way, no, I'm way too egotistical to want to kill myself. He's showing me this. I don't know. Is he? He's showing me like a military base. He's like at a military base. There's a lot of weapons. There's a lot of guns. There's a lot of bullets. But then I can't get anything more than that. That's like where it ends. Obviously, I know about the car breaking down because that was in the email. But I think the car breaking down was not an accident. There's something, people knew he was going to be there. And this is the thing. I don't think he jumped. And in fact, I don't think he fell. I get a blunt force shot to the side of my head. Maybe I feel like on the right side, but I feel like somebody hit me from behind. Somebody hit him from behind. I think they made it look like he jumped, but he didn't. And I feel like there was a lot of people, like way a lot of people there who witnessed his death, his murder. And in some ways, it was kind of like a sacrifice. Like they realized that his spirit would be coming up, and that may be why he's so, holy shit. Holy shit. He is being pulled into something else. He's not, they're trying to prevent him from leaving. Like they're going to use him as not just a body sacrifice. Oh shit. Okay, then maybe, all right, then maybe tonight I will try to help undo that. I, oh wow. Okay, this is just taking a whole new turn. Holy shit. Um, okay, now he's asking for help. Okay. Uh, just what? Show me. And like he can't, but so there seemingly is, and I don't know if they're above him or under him. So if anyone, military base, cracked in the back of the head, drugged for sure, very out of his mind. I feel like people have been calling him nonstop. His handlers and people who had been set to gang stalk him and convince him to get into a suicidal state were just working on him all the time and using a lot of religious jargon. Something about being very close to Jesus and encouraging him to off himself, but he's not doing it. He's very confused. Does he have a patch on? It's almost like he's got a patch on his body that he doesn't know about, or something in his body that they're administering some sort of mind-altering chemical. It's like in his food, or maybe it's in his car. But they're getting it into him anyways. He's very susceptible. He's confused. He says he doesn't feel like himself. He doesn't know what's real around him. It's like he's at a hotel, but he's not at a hotel. He gets there. I don't know. He keeps going back to laying on the ground, but he's not dead. And there's a lot of people around him. And the majority of them are there because they know it was going to happen. And they're feeding off it. And, okay, he's really asking for help. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. Isaac Cappy murdered, for sure. Mind controlled, abso-fucking-lutely. Used, absolutely. Against his will for the majority of the time. Did he have the promise of fame? Yes. Did that work on the equation against him? Yes. He didn't fall, didn't jump. I think he was hit and he was placed to make it look like he jumped. And he's asking because they are trying to pull his spirit into, they're going to keep. They're not going to let him go on. So, fuck. Which is, okay. I'm going to leave it at that. And if I can do anything to help him, I will. Isaac Cappy. I wish I would have known you more, man.